Hi folks, this is what it's doing in the UK seemingly every day at the moment. And certainly when I want to be going out and filming the lights, and you know, I've got loads and loads to show you. I've done the desktop reviews, but I've got to go get outside and do the outside stuff. So I've got plenty of videos up and coming. But I thought I'd want to get something uploaded and give you something to show without having to wait on the good old English weather. So I thought I would go through and show you some of the gadgets that you've seen me kind of tinkering around with. And in no particular order, let's jump in. Now you've seen this on enough of my videos, my lux meter. And what that's essentially doing is reading the ambient light. So we can see there, I mean, as you move it around, of course, it changes, but let's just put it down and try and get it reasonably steady. So the ambient light in this room around 28. If I go and grab a torch, up to 43. And what I'm using this for, I'm not testing the total output of a light. What I'm using this for is to detect changes in power. So as I tinker around with this light and lower or increase its brightness, the lux meter will spot that. It's important you don't keep on moving things around. And what I use this for is to detect the subtle changes in step down of the power, or to put different batteries in there with the same torch to see whether there is actually an increase in power. I think I showed you that on the sofa in Q8. So I find this type of thing here really handy. The cheapest chips as well. So if you're a little bit of a geek with flashlights, that's a handy little bit of kit to have. Probably the next thing to show you, which you've seen me with frequently, little laser temperature checker. So when I've been tinkering around with the thermal settings and that type of stuff, I can see kind of how hot running our lights tend to be. Another handy little piece of kit. Let me turn that off. This here, it didn't come on this stand, by the way. This is a mobile phone stand that I kind of bodged it with a bit of sticky tape on there to get it on there. This one's particularly handy. You can test all manner of things on here, but you know, for example, I can turn it to 3.7. I can test you know, the voltage of the batteries and what the internal resistance is. The internal resistance is quite useful as well. And you do that by just putting those two prongs on either side of the battery. So I can test whether they're full or whether they're not, or whether the internal resistance is too high, as in the battery's knackered. This wasn't expensive either, and I use this quite a lot. Next up, now you don't see me. No, in fact, I'll show you those last. Let me show you that little gadget in the corner there. You've seen me perhaps using that. I'd really recommend you get yourself one of these. Let me get the camera a little bit better. So I've got various ports there. We can see we've got the quick charge and then another 4 extras. We can see what voltage we've got available and what ampage is being drawn from a particular appliance. So if I get my, where did I put it? Here we go. So if I get my little sofa in here, yes, I can see it's charging, but crucially, I can see what we're charging at, 1.5 amps. I can use any of these ports. Fantastic little bit of kit that is. I'm always using that. It's been really good for me. Oh, I didn't realise I'd left bastard squirrel there, let me move that out of the way. Now you don't see these, or you don't see me using them too often, but I do use them. I'm not into anything particularly professional, but you know, these are quite good. So that's a load test. I can put a 1 amp or a 2 amp load on there. And what that's handy for, if you get a charger, say this, or I could use that over there, but it's a little bit more awkward if I try and show you on that, so I'll use this. You know, what sort of output is this going to give us? Plug it back in there. Now you do have to be careful when you're using extension leads and things like that I'm doing at the moment. In fact, actually, let me show you properly. So if I want to know how good this particular charger is, I can see there, this little button here, I can tell it to pull 1 amp, and we can see that this charger is providing 1 amp for it. We've got some other data there which we can press this and scroll through all the bits and bobs. Really, really handy this is for testing your charging equipment. So as we can see, this particular charger here can adequately provide 2 amps if we've got an appliance that needs it. What I've just done there as well, if you use an extension lead, make sure you use, you know, a good quality extension lead or good quality USB-Cs. So I've just put the extension lead in, and we're still okay. You start putting cheap leads in and you're not so okay. This other one I got here, that's just a little bit more of the same. Now I've changed my extension lead and I've popped it in, and that device over there, it's getting a bit warm now, that is. See, that's giving us 1.7 on the screen over there. What's that reading at? 1.8. It isn't quite giving us the 2 amps, is it, that it should? It's probably because there's something else plugged in there as well. The other charger, by the way, that was a really, really expensive. This particular one here was a really expensive mobile phone charger for a highway. So if I really, really am concerned about the wattage and the outputs, I'll probably use that one. Or I've also got this one here. Oh dear me, that's dusty, isn't it? This one was supplied by Olight. This has got a 3 amp output. Dear me, how embarrassing. That teach me to have a dust around, won't it? There's no substitute for a decent USB power adapter, but that I tend to use that little device the most. Not quite as good as the proper 2 that I've just shown you, but that's really, really convenient. So again, you know, jumping back to, in fact, let me pause it. Sorry, I've just got rid of the extension lead and put that in. So we can grab, you know, another torch, for example. I think this one's just about fully charged. Still accepting. You can see the state of the light as well. And that, yes, that's pulling, still pulling 1.6 amps. Yeah, there's still a bit left to go in there. But you'll see that figure over there start to drop off as the light regulates its charging. So it's a good way of checking whether your overcharge protection is working correctly. Get that out of the way. So that is all the little gadget that I tend to use, and I can't emphasize, you know, how helpful this type of thing is with the little tester. Christ, that's warm with drawing 2 amps. Okay folks, I'm crossing my fingers that the weather's going to be a little bit better later on and get some of these extra lights that I haven't shown you yet. Oh sorry, one last thing I wanted to mention. Let me pause, let me find it. Yeah, here we go. Let me get rid of all this lot. There's the screws. Absolutely gutted about this. This is my Macstock LR550 headlight. It stopped working. I've taken the head off, you know, had a look under there, had a look at the wiring. I'm not really a boffin with this kind of thing, to be honest with you. You know, I've checked the circuits. I can't see what the problem is other than it's not working. So I've kind of left it in this state of disassembly with all the bits that you need and the screws. Just chuck it all back in there. I can't fix that. Oh, that's it. Where did that come from? Anyway, I went to Macstock and mentioned it to them about that light, and they very kindly sent me another one with a 21700 instead of 218-650 battery carriers. So if anybody thinks that they know how to fix that and get it working, just drop me a message and you're quite welcome to have it if you think you can get it going. I can't get it going, so it'll go in the bin. Otherwise, let me know and you can have it. Catch you soon, folks.